This is the Signature 1 control valve manufactured by CSI Water Treatment Systems. As you can see, this is a digital control valve, so we're going to cover some of the programming features of this control valve. As you can see, the display right now is showing the current time of day and alternating to gallons remaining. This is actually programmed to be a metered or demand softener valve. And there are actually two levels of programming. There is what we call the initial programming and also the master programming, where you can enter the master programming to change some more intricate functions. The initial programming usually is the only thing that you will have to do, and one of the first things would be to make sure that you program the current time of day in the control valve. And to enter the initial programming, there are two buttons. There's a menu enter button and a set change button. You simply push the menu enter button, the time of day flashes. You want to set or change it, so you push the set change button, and the first digit flashes, and that will be the first digit that you will set. When you get to the digits that you want, you simply push the menu enter button to enter it, and you set your second digit, you enter it, you set your hours, you enter it, make sure that's the time that you desire. You press enter again, and now it's going to ask you, is that time AM or is it PM? And we'll leave P for PM. Press enter, and it's going to ask what is the hardness in grains per gallon. You would find this information off of your water analysis report. And so if we, for instance, had 25 grains per gallon, you simply enter 25 and push the menu enter button, and then that is the end of the initial programming. Now you might notice that even though we changed our hardness, the number of gallons has not changed, so the valve actually has to go through a complete cycle before it will calculate based on that new hardness setting. To manually regenerate the unit, if you ever desire to, just simply push and hold the set change button until the number of gallons go to all zeros. If I left it alone and let it regenerate tonight, it would regenerate tonight. If I wanted to immediately go into a regeneration, I simply push and hold the set change button again until the valve begins a cycle. And here I'm going through into cycle 1 and I have 10 minutes left, and mechanically on the indicator I'm showing that I'm in the backwash position. When I want to desire to go to the next cycle, I simply push and hold the set change button until the valve starts to motor to the second cycle, and so on. And so I can just manually select each cycle, whether you're just simply first starting the unit up and you want to check the operation of each cycle, or you're doing any other kind of troubleshooting work that you desire to go into each cycle manually. And so now we're motoring to cycle 4, which is your brine tank refill. And once we get there, then we can just fast cycle back to the service position by holding the set change button until the valve starts to motor to the cycle 0, which is back in service where it's normally treating water. And so now you can see that the number of gallons has recalculated based on that change in hardness setting that I changed to. So now to enter the master programming, if I hold both buttons down at the same time for about 5 seconds or so, the first function we come to, we see a small D, which stands for demand, or this valve can also be programmed as a time clock, where it would be programmed by number of days. I'm going to leave it in D for demand for this demonstration. And the second function then is the calendar day override. And this would actually be programmed to override the meter by number of days. So our valve is actually a metered valve and also a time clock all in one. And so if you're on city water or do not have any iron in the water, it'd be advisable to get into the master programming and cancel this function so that it runs strictly off the meter. If you do have iron in the water, then I'd recommend to keep the calendar day override at a minimum set for the factory setting of every 7 days. The next function is your regeneration time. Factory preset for 2 a.m. And keep in mind that if the unit's offline regenerating and water is used, you will get untreated water into the service line. So you want to make sure that the regeneration time is always set for a time of no water usage. And the next functions then are your different cycle times in minutes. Most cases you will not change these from factory presets. The first cycle is your backwash set for 10 minutes. Second cycle is your brine and rinse set for 60 minutes. Third cycle is your rapid rinse set for 10 minutes. Fourth cycle is your brine tank refill set for whatever size softener, but the most popular size would be the 32,000 grain, and that would be set for 10 minutes from the factory. And then your final function would be the capacity of your unit, which in this case is showing 32,000 grains of capacity. And that is just about it for the programming. And if you have any more information or you have any more questions, please consult your CSI service manual or visit our website at csih2o.com.